Oh man, the art in this game is so good and the music is so good. It's really a shame we don't really know how to do a community management or design a pro scene, you know? So hello guys, today in this video I'm going to make a guide on how to properly play each game mode we have in SMITE. You see, there has been always this misconception that only certain game modes can be competitive, and in my opinion every game mode can be competitive if you just want it to be. Like, you either wanna win or you don't, okay? It's simple as that. And most people are not really willing to learn the game mode. You see, nobody was willing to learn arena. They just say, oh, it's for casual, you just run down, you know. But arena, every game mode has its own design, and if you wanna be a good competitive player, you need to learn how these game modes are designed and how you can win, okay? So let's play Slash first, okay? And I'm going to explain to you how to win in Slash, okay? Now, I think what is actually very interesting about the Slash is the fact that I think the middle is the most important part of the map, because whoever controls the middle can actually soak experience from both lanes, and you also get a buff, okay? So people that think that you can just play defensively in Clash actually have no idea how the game mode is designed, okay? And I think this is what I love about things like Slash or Clash, because middle is so important, and if you constantly rotate from both lanes and you also get middle, you're gonna get the most experience, the most gold, okay? Now let's talk about Conquest next, okay? Conquest is the opposite in terms of game design compared to Arena. That's why some people think that Arena is not competitive. They think that only snowbally game modes and game modes that are designed around abusing meta items and fighting for resources are the only competitive game modes, which is I think this is why people love Conquest, okay? But there is also this huge issue that people don't really realize, that 1, 2, 3 level difference is so huge in this game. It's everything. And then there used to be an old saying that the Conquest Dota match is designed at the first wave. Whoever clears archers first actually gets level up faster, and you can snowball from this difference alone. That's why you need to have a support who goes, for example, Sentinel's Gift, that gives you that early game sustain so you can actually tank minions, soak minions, play more aggressively and get value, right? If you don't get value, if you don't apply pressure, you can't win these games. And there has been always this question, you know, how strong snowballing needs to be in Conquest, right? At what point it's too much? You see, a lot of new players, a lot of these Dota Conquest players think that having number lead is just because you are good, because you play the game well, and that's true. But it's also true that these game modes are literally designed in such way that one team will always be ahead, and if you have too much snowballing in your game, then nothing else really matters, because this 1-2 level difference is everything. You can be the best player in the world, and if you are 2 levels below your opponent, there is literally nothing you can do, right? But this is also where, you know, a lot of fun comes in. You have all these rotations, you have all this learning the meta, right? But then the problem is there is no real content. It's just, they just do item and different item and god balance. People have to learn it, but there is no new content here, you know? In my opinion, both Conquest and Arena can be very competitive, and I think it's really shame that we don't really have anything for Arena fans. We have 6-year-old Arena map, no rank leaderboards, no rewards, no community tournaments. If you wanna have a proper competitive scene, you need to organize official online community tournaments for Conquest and Arena, EU and North America region, 2 most popular regions. And then you can get the final teams to play it out in Atlanta for the final reward. This is how SMITE competitive scene used to work back in the days. And then if you do these things, you also get viewership and sponsorship naturally, because people wanna see who's the best, you see. And then you get this EU and North America competitive spirit that fulfill the whole thing going, you know. And let's talk about Arena next. You see, most people don't really understand Arena. They don't really understand how Arena is designed. There are two anti-snowball mechanics in Arena. You have high experience and gold spoiling, and you have a last 10 ticket system, okay, which most people don't really understand. You know, a lot of people think that in Arena you can just play, you get 2 kill lead and then play defensively and this is how you win. No, this is how you lose, because when your team has 10 tickets and opponent team has 50 tickets, you are losing tickets at much lesser rate. You are losing 1 ticket per wave. Meanwhile, they're losing 7 tickets per wave. So you need 10 waves to actually finish the game, right? So you can just, at the end of the game, you can play more defensively, right? Because they're losing tickets at much faster rate. But most people don't really understand how the arena is designed, and the beauty of arena is also fighting on even playing field, where there is no number advantage. It's just how you build and how you play and your ability to adapt and come back. You see, arena is all about consistency, counter building and resetting fights often, and you need to get value out of aggressive playstyle and defensive playstyle at the same time. There is actually more counter building in typical arena game than in Conquest, because in Conquest you just buy meta items, you get ahead, you barely need to counter build. That's why even at SPL level we barely see any good support or solo lane builds, you know. And there is also a big problem with itemization, like how most solo laners just buy Gladiator Shield and Runeforge Hammer, and not only are they tanky, they do physical damage, but they also do bonus magical damage, so you can't really counter build against that, you see. And I think that's a big issue. You see, people play arena and they always buy 6 damage items, they barely counter build. Even if they play against 3 physicals, double warrior, they still don't buy Valor, or they still don't buy Anti-Slow like Winged Blade or Sprint Relic. And the problem is people are not willing to learn the game mode, right? Every game mode can be competitive if you want it to be, if you actually are willing to learn it. But when we have no leaderboards, no rewards, no tournaments for arena, it's very hard to take it seriously. You see, arena is my favorite game mode, but I have no real reason to play it anymore. You see, every competitive player wants to have something to work towards too, right? And back in the days, not only we have these rank functionalities, but we also have more rewards. Even Conquest had way more rewards for just playing the game. We have more skin rewards. We have better skins for, you know, less gems. There are more achievements. You could get cool skins just by playing the game. I think this is what they need to bring back, more motivation to play the game. They need to bring back ranked rewards, ranked leaderboards and rewards for arena, more community tournaments. They need to add mini chest for winning 1, 2 or 3 games, right? Why did they remove mini chest from the game? That was such a good idea. You see, for every 3rd win or for every 2nd win, you could get a mini chest reward, and that's really cool, okay? Joust is very similar to Conquest. It's designed around snowballing. That's why I never really liked Joust. I think there should be 1 versus 1 arena and Conquest ranked in SMITE 2, because 1 versus 1 is actually very interesting meta, and it's a totally different meta. You see, 1 versus 1 or Conquest or arena have totally different meta. That's why you need to learn it if you want to consider yourself to be a good SMITE player, a competitive player, you know. And many people don't counter build in such game modes, because you really can't, because if you counter build too early you can fall behind. That's why we even at fucking SPL level, when they played sometimes against 4 physicals, they didn't buy the correct counter items like Virginity, Shoun Kuzari, Witchblade, you know? This is where the depth comes in. This is why supporting is arguably the most fun and important role, right? But people don't really know how to build supports, you know? They buy Virginity way too late, you have to buy it as a first item to get those flat protections early, to counter the flat penetration items that jungler buy. Then you buy Shoun Kuzari to clear objectives faster. You can buy Witchblade if you play against 3 physical or animation cancelers like Susano, and so on and so on. What else? Assault. Yeah, man, I have such a fond memories of Assault. I was playing Assault constantly with my friend Emo, and it was really fun.
In Assault, gods are randomly assigned to players and split into 2 teams, each team spawning in a base at opposite ends of a single lane. To win, your team must push with your minions down the lane, first destroying the enemy towers, then the Phoenix, and finally their Titan.
You know, you get a random god if you don't know what to play. I mean, Assault still has some problems, but I think it's like Aram from League of Legends, and people loved Aram in League of Legends. League of Legends have this problem that they mostly only cater to conquest Dota players and ignore everybody else. That's why they removed Twisted Tree Line and Domination. They did the same mistake that SMITE is doing right now, 5 years after. They think that removing all these fun game modes will somehow bring in more players to the game. Your goal shouldn't be to attract more players to Conquest. Your goal should be to attract more players to the game. And then you will also get more players to Conquest, okay? That's how it works. And you cannot just force players into Conquest. Now, you have been literally forcing players into Conquest. Everybody that wanna consider himself to be a competitive player. Right, so you ignored Arena, which was your most popular game modes for the last 5 years, which could make SMITE one of the most popular game on the market, right? You removed Siege, which a lot of people loved, right? And all you have to do is to have a rank functionalities for 2-3 main game modes, and then you can add all these other fun game modes into the rotation that changes weekly, right? You could easily. You already made those assets, why not use them? Just add them back into the match of the day rotation and rotate them on weekly basis. And this is how you're gonna attract even more players to the community into the game, right? So, I feel like there is a lot of wasted potential in SMITE. SMITE itself is a great game. We have one of the best action combat, one of the best social system, but it feels like this devs don't really know how to manage the game and the community, and it's a huge issue. That's why we have one of the most divided community for years now, and that's why we have so many community issues, and you don't really get a lot of perspective, especially on Reddit, because it's way too much downvoting and censorship and so on. And you know, people say, what do you need to change to make Arena a ranked game mode? Nothing. Arena is already perfect. Arena is way more complex than most people think. Sometimes you have to focus on team fights, sometimes you can push minions, how to push tower properly. If you stand beside the tower, you can actually push it through enemy gods and minions. So in order to stop the tower, you actually have to stop enemy gods. That's why I play aggressively and try to take their attention. Okay, but most people don't understand that, and then they actually think they are just trolling. And that's always the issue. People don't really understand the game mode, and then they just make assumptions about it and go on with their days, right? I mean, you either wanna win or you don't. It's simply as that, you know? So, let me know what you guys think and see you in the next one. I'm pretty tired now, so have a nice day and hope you get some sun.